Hello everybody, this is Rocko Gamer45 and I finally did it. I went back and I rewatched the 2005 Doom movie. Oh boy, what a movie that was. Not necessarily in a good way, well not in a good way at all to be honest. But it was a movie and that's all I can say really. So, it's not as bad as people would really make it out to be. I checked his sort of Rotten Tomatoes sort of score and it got 19%. It's not as bad as that, it really isn't. But what it certainly is, it's not really Doom. It's obviously a Doom 3 inspired one. There's no way it's like any of the other Dooms, apart from one bit which is actually pretty good in the film. But this one's mainly inspired by Doom 3 with the more of the horror, claustrophobic events going in it. And just the way the whole sort of base looks on Mars and everything. So, it's not a bad movie. It's just not Doom. It kind of is Doom 3, but it kind of makes its own story up along the way as well, which kind of is weird. Instead of going with like a similar sort of storyline to Doom, where all these demons are actually breaking out of hell or something like that, it decided to use its own storyline, and the demons are actually all human-made using this certain drug thing, and it sort of turns some people into superhumans, some people into the monsters that you see in the film. That's what this film is. It's more of a horror film with Doom thrown on it for the good sales, in my opinion. We have literally sort of Doom was just the basic storyline for this film, or the reason this film should exist. Because it's just more of a horror film with the odd Doom sort of trademark thrown in here and there, such as the BFGs thrown in, UAC here or there, you see that written on the walls, and the odd first person shooter part, which once again was pretty cool. But that's kind of it. That's kind of where it lies. The rest of it is just the odd reference to the old Doom games and his own sort of movie, which is not necessarily bad, but I don't know why they should really make this a Doom film. Such as there's this one guy in the film. I thought this was quite a cool reference. His nickname is Pinky, and then next thing you know, of course, what enemy would he turn into later in the film? A Pinky. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And of course, it was this Doom 3 model of the Pinky. It looks kind of alright. It was interesting. That's the other thing I thought with this film. I didn't think the enemies looked that great. Like you got the classic zombie people, they seemed alright. You had, I'm guessing, what are the imps with like the many eyes. To me, they look really out of place. The Hell Knights, which I found out are Hell Knights through the cast, because I wasn't just sure if they was their own enemy, but they are indeed called Hell Knights. They're okay. I mean, they definitely got their huge sort of feeling about them, correct? How they're huge and muscly and can take down pretty much any guy, I guess you would say. But also at the same time, they didn't seem as intimidating as they could have been. They're just more like all they did was throw you about instead of trying to rip you or turn you into another demon like themselves. They just threw you about, so you was thrown across one room to the other, and that's about it with the Hell Knights. And that's the only enemies you see apart from that one Pinky. No one else, just the 3 or 4 enemy types. So they decided to keep it kind of bland with the enemies. I mean, if it was mutations, I think they could have done a lot more. So maybe we've seen one of them, maybe a big worker in the UAC could have turned into a Mancubus or something like that with a rocket launcher stuck to his arm, just to reference that. Or maybe one of them, maybe one of the people that got infected tried to cremate themselves or something, set themselves on fire, so it just reveals all their bones, but of course they still resurrect, and next thing you know it looks like a revenant, something like that. There's more ways to have enemies in this, which they really didn't decide to do that. They decided to stick with the same enemy types. I mean, I don't like the imp looks in this at all. I think they look a bit ridiculous. Hell Knights are passable. The Pinky Demon was pretty good for the Doom 3 design, and that's about it. So as I said before, we had the BFG in this, and well, they don't make it as good as it is in the games, of course. It was literally just a big ray of plasma-ish stuff that hits a wall, and then the wall sort of disintegrates, and that's about it. It's not that intimidating, not like in the other ones where you can hit enemies all around the room with this different like sort of attacks, or nothing like the games. It was just a little ball, and it was just there for the sake of it, because it was a rock that has it. He just pretty much wastes it as well. He doesn't really hit any enemies with it. He just more or less hits a wall every single time, and you just see the wall disintegrate. So I don't know. The BFG definitely felt like it was there just because it's Doom, and they just wanted the storyline to go with it because they needed more things from the Doom universe to call it Doom. So they're just like, okay, we throw the BFG in. Apart from that, there's no other weapons that you see in Doom, apart from one of the characters has like a chain gun, and that's really it. The rest of the characters have their own sort of machine guns. There's no other, nothing like the SSG or nothing like that, or a rocket launcher or even a plasma gun. Which it would have been cool to see maybe at one point in the film when they know things are going from bad to worse, they all go down to the weapons chamber and they find these plasma guns and all these high-tech weapons, and they can turn into a right big Doom sort of situation. But nothing like that ever happened. Some of the characters were okay. I mean, I did kind of like the storyline. I don't know, spoiler alert, the Rock sort of turns it bad before he's even affected. It's kind of weird. I never really understood that. I don't know if he's already been sort of infected before, but he sort of, before he actually gets infected, he starts acting pretty bad and he starts shooting and killing his own team. I don't know what's going on there, but then eventually he does get bitten. That's when he turns into the true zombie demon person. So anyway, yeah, he dies. Spoiler alert, I have to say that, but I think most people have seen this film at this point anyway who want to see it. And well, that's about it, I guess you can say. There's not much to talk about with this film. It's okay. I kind of like the claustrophobic atmosphere. It did kind of go with the Doom 3 feeling, but it just wasn't as good as I was hoping as a Doom movie. I'm hoping the new Doom one's going to be a bit different. But as a standalone movie, as like a horror movie, this isn't bad at all. It can be relatable, sort of, or a realistic situation where people get too over the top again and use scientific experiments on people, and that's what could happen. It could actually happen in real life, something like that, where we decide to test out this new drug on somebody, and of course they mutate. So if you look at it like that, it can be sort of realistic, I guess. But as a movie, especially as a Doom movie, I don't know why they didn't just stick to the original sort of storyline instead of trying to change it here and there. Yeah, effectively there's no Doom guy either, which is interesting. I wonder if the new Doom will have anything like that. Yeah, there's no new Doom guy. There's a main person you see, but he's nowhere near a Doom guy. There's not even like a character who has the famous helmet or nothing like that. So, final verdict is definitely this is just a film with Doom elements thrown in just probably for the sale, and that's literally it. That's all I can say. If I have to rate this film, I'd rate it a 5 out of 10. Once again, I definitely wouldn't give it a 19%. That's effectively 2 out of 10. That's nowhere near as bad as many films I've seen in recent years. It's not good, it's not great, it's average, at least for me. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.